Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be going over the Kazakhstan among the top 3 Bitcoin mining destinations after the US and China. So over the years we've obviously seen these mining companies move to different places. Obviously with the Chinese ban, we'll get into that in a minute. But obviously with the Chinese ban we have seen the migration of crypto mining companies to different countries, and we want to see which ones are the top ones to start actually mining in. The top 3 countries contributing to Bitcoin's hash rate continue to eat away at the share of other players such as Malaysia, Germany and Iran. For over a year, the oil-rich Central Asian country of Kazakhstan has maintained its position as the 3rd biggest contributor to Bitcoin mining after surpassing Russia back in February of 2021. As of January 2022, Kazakhstan contributed to 13.22% of the total Bitcoin hash rate, positioned right after the historical leaders United States and China as shown below. So we actually have this chart here which shows the hash rate between September of 2019 to January of 2022. So it hasn't actually got the figures from the past 6 months, obviously because it takes time for this data to be processed. But overall, as you can see in 2019, China had a massive share of the Bitcoin hash rate, and as time has gone along, China's kind of squeezed inwards up until around May of 2021, where we had that ban in China where all the Chinese miners were shut down. Subsequently though, after that, USA received a lot of hash rate and so did Kazakhstan. As you can see in those grey bars in June and August of 2021, you can see that Kazakhstan is in grey and then the USA is in blue. And some of it also converted over to Canada and Russia. So since then, obviously Bitcoin mining is still in a grey area in China, but there has been hash rate come onto the network in China that has been reported. It's not supposed to be there, but it has come online, and people are obviously just mining without the control of the government over in China. Now the reason that Kazakhstan receives so much hash rate is because of the fact that it's got a close proximity to China. So when this switch happened, a lot of people migrated into Kazakhstan. If we look here on this map, we can see that China is in the bottom right. If you look up in the top left, you can see that the Kazakhstan region is on the left side of China. So what has happened is these crypto mining rigs have been shut down and they had to go somewhere, so they migrated over to Kazakhstan, where they have low electricity prices. Just a quick Google search will show that the electricity price in Kazakhstan is on average 0.043 cents per kilowatt per household, and for businesses it's a bit higher at 0.56 cents. So around 4 cents for households, and for businesses it's around 5 cents. The average electricity right now in the US I think is around 10 cents per kilowatt hour, but it kind of varies between 10 to around 8 cents per kilowatt hour. Furthermore, along with similar timelines, Cambridge Centre for Alternative Finance Data estimated that Kazakhstan's absolute hash rate contribution, which was the monthly average, was 24.8 equihash per second. So equihash is a measure of hash rate. Meanwhile, the US and China contributed 71 and 39.6 respectively. So if we look on the Bitcoin mining hash rate chart, we can see that right now we're at 262 equihash. So Kazakhstan kind of holds around 10% of the whole hash rate. Then the USA would hold around 40% and China would still hold around 25%. So a good amount of actual hash rate is in Kazakhstan, and Canada also has a decent amount of hash rate added on at their disposal. Now if we look at this chart, we can see that the Kazakhstan hash rate has slowly increased since September 2019, but had a real boost in September of 2021. When obviously the Chinese mining ban came in. If you can see here, it's in really light color, but mainland China is in yellow. It's at the very top, but you can't really see the figures right now because they're not highlighted. But you can also see countries like Iran, Russia, Kazakhstan, Canada and United States in there as well. Germany also represents a lot on this chart, but because the servers are mainly in Germany, I don't think it counts any ones that are in like France or the UK directly. The same goes for Ireland on this chart, as a lot of servers are in Ireland, so people will connect to Irish servers and then they'll start mining on those servers, so it doesn't actually represent what has been mined in Ireland. The International Energy Agency, which is co-founded by the European Union, highlighted Kazakhstan's heavy resilience on non-renewable energy such as oil over 50%, coal which is 28%, and natural gas of 17% until 2020. The study revealed most coal is used for electricity and heat generation, while most oil is used by final consumers, particularly in road transport. So Kazakhstan has a close proximity to Russia, it borders it, and with China they have a lot of resources which they can tap into. They probably have their own resources as well, but energy is very cheap over there. However, the top 3 countries contributing to Bitcoin's hash rate continue to eat away the share of the other players such as Malaysia, Germany and Iran. Kazakhstan was among the first to welcome the displaced Chinese miners when the Chinese government imposed the blanket ban on Bitcoin and crypto mining. As I said, it's got a close proximity to China, so they basically migrated over to there because the electricity was cheap as well. China resumed mining operations in September 2022, but the temporary mining ban stripped the country's position as the biggest Bitcoin mining hub, placing the United States at the top ever since. So the United States took a big jump in Bitcoin hash rate. If we go back to this chart, we can obviously see that it grew by around, something like 50% in the past year or so, just because it had all that Chinese hash rate hit the network. These all migrated over to Texas, I believe, and Louisiana, because they have the cheapest electricity per state. But we do see some outliers in there, like Russia, because it should have a little bit more, seeming that the Bitcoin hash rate has kind of migrated through the past 6 months, which is obviously not shown on this chart, but Russia has a very low electricity rate. Local reports from Kazakhstan highlighted the country's intent to legalize a mechanism for converting cryptocurrencies to fiat. So right now they don't actually have any exchanges in Kazakhstan that will allow you to convert cryptocurrency to fiat, just because it is kind of against the government rules over there. Speaking at an international forum for Digital Bridge in 2022, President of Kazakhstan shared his vision to make Kazakhstan a leader in the field of digital technology, cryptocurrency ecosystem and regulated mining. Lastly, he says, "We are ready to go further. If this financial instrument shows its further resilience and security, it will certainly receive full legal recognition." So this could possibly turn into an El Salvador situation where Kazakhstan welcome cryptocurrency in and start to make it a legal tender, and they, set up the infrastructure for cryptocurrency. Just because they have an actual large amount of cryptocurrency sitting in the country at any one time, miners can actually use it to go and buy stuff with it instead of converting it into the native currency or into other currencies like US dollars or euros. Lastly, I want to look back on this chart and just mention about Canada having a hash rate that is kind of growing at the moment. In June and August of 2021, it was a larger amount of hash rate, I think because people were kind of figuring out which place to put their Bitcoin mining rigs were. But now Canada has actually grown more because of the cost per kilowatt hour. In Canada, it's around 13 cents if you exclude the territories, but I have seen some people have around 9 cents per kilowatt hour, so it has been reducing its power cost in the earlier months. So right now I'd like to know your opinion if you're going to be sending your rigs to Kazakhstan. Obviously there's a lot of people that will host your mining setups. Places in Canada and the US are already set up very well. You can send them out to Texas, you can send them out to Louisiana. I would suggest if you're in the United States, you would send it to either anywhere in the United States or up to Canada, just because you don't really want to send them across the world. It gets a bit difficult, you can have your miners stolen and stuff like that. If you're in maybe India, Pakistan, around the area of Kazakhstan, then I'd suggest sending it up to Kazakhstan, where they have these places that will actually host your rigs for you, and at the low electricity cost, you can make more money on your Bitcoin, as right now, it's very hard to make money. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please like the video and subscribe for more content like this. Also check out the recommended video at the end screen.